video.
Today we're making play and bake storytelling dough. In the bowl we have 2 cups of warm water and 3 tablespoons of sugar. Can you stir that up, please?
Yep.
And then we're going to add 1 packet of yeast to it. Okay, should we put the yeast in?
Yep.
All right, just sprinkle that right on top. And then we'll let it, what they call bloom, for about 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes, and now we're ready to put in the rest of the ingredients. Bia, would you put in 2 teaspoons of salt, please?
Yes. So 2 of these?
Mm-hmm. 1. 2. And now we need 1/4 of a cup of oil, please. Any kind of oil that you like will be fine. And by the way, I like to put a towel underneath what we're working on because it keeps the bowl from slipping around while the kids are stirring. It also is easier for cleanup. So that was 1/4 of a cup of oil. So now we're going to start mixing. And we have 7 cups of flour to put in, just a little bit at a time. Here we go. Stir away. So we've made our dough and it's ready to work. We didn't need all of this flour. Just work the dough until it's not sticky. Might be a little sticky, but not too sticky. And then with some of this flour, you can sprinkle around so the dough will not stick to your table. You know, I have a story about a little worm. Would you like to work with your dough while I tell the story?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
This is one of our favorite stories. It's about Herman the worm.
Oh.
Herman the worm was very, very tiny. He was the tiniest worm you'd ever see, and he lived with his family in a whole colony of worms. Well, one day, Herman was out in the forest visiting with a friend of his. It was a very old man who lived by himself in a cabin. And every day, the old man would sit on his front porch, rocking and twiddling his thumbs, waiting for Herman to come and visit. Well, one day the old man was sitting there and he saw a little bit of movement in the grass. And you know who it was? It was
Herman the worm.
It was. And the old man said, "Herman, is that you?" And this is how Herman talked. He said, "Yes, it is me, old man. It's me, Herman the worm. I've come to say hello." And the old man said, "Hello." And was that Herman? Look how tiny he is.
Very
Well,
tiny.
Herman every day complained about the same thing. He said, "Old man, I am so tiny. I don't want to be this tiny. I want to be a big worm." And the old man would say, "Yes, I know, Herman. I understand how you feel. You just need to eat lots of food and play and rest, and in time you'll get big." And Herman said, "I don't want to wait that long. You'll see. I'll be back." And off Herman went. Well, the next day, the old man was sitting on his porch, rocking back and forth in his rocking chair, twiddling his thumbs, and there was a little bit of movement in the grass. And this worm came out, and it wasn't little tiny Herman. It was a worm this big. And the old man said, "Herman, how did you get so big?" And Herman said, "Well, you might not like this, but this is what happened. I went home yesterday, and my little sister and my little brother were giving me a hard time. They were saying, 'You're so tiny, you're so small,' and I got really mad, so I had to do it." The old man had to do what? He said. "What did you have to do?" And Herman said, "Well, I ate them." "What?" said the old man. "You ate your sister and brother?" And Herman said, "Yes, because they were going, ooh." And the old man said, "Herman, that's terrible." Well, Herman left. So the next day, the old man was sitting on his porch. He was a little concerned. He was rocking a little bit faster, twiddling his thumbs, and he saw another worm come. And it wasn't this big or this big, it was that big. And the old man said, Herman, what did you do? How did you get so big? And Herman said, well, you know, yesterday I told you that I ate my sister and brother because they were giving me a hard time. Well, when I got home, my parents were very worried because they couldn't find my sister and brother. And they said, Herman, do you know where your sister and brother are? And I said, yes, I do. And they said, where are they? I said, well, when I got home, they were going, woo, like this. So I ate them. What? Said their parents. What did you do? And the parents started screaming and yelling and woo! So I had to do it. I did. You know what I did? The old man said, what did you do? Well, I ate them both. What? Said the old man. You ate your parents? Yes, said Herman. And off he went. Well, the next day, the old man was sitting on the porch, rocking back and forth really fast, twiddling his thumbs, and along came a worm. It wasn't this big or this big or this big. It was that big. And the old man said, Herman, what did you do? And Herman said, well, I told you about my little sister, my little brother, and my parents. Well, I went to school, and everybody said, wow, how did you get so big? And I told them how I got so big. And the teacher said, what? You ate your sister and your brother and your parents? And I said, well, yes, I did, because they were yelling and screaming at me. Well, the teacher just went, woo, and all the kids went, woo. So I ate them up. You ate your teacher and all the students? Yes, I did. But they had called the police, and the police came, and they were like, stop, don't do that. And they were yelling at me, so I ate them too. And the old man said, Herman, you ate your brother, your sister, your parents, your teacher, your classmates, and all the police? And Herman said, yes, I did. The old man said, that's terrible. You should not do that. And Herman said, bye, and off he went. Well, the next day, the old man didn't know what to think. He was rocking so fast, you could hardly see him. And then he noticed a little tiny movement in the grass. And he said, run, run, Herman will eat you up, run. And this voice said, relax, old man, it's me, Herman. He said, Herman, but you're only this big. What happened? Herman said, well, I burped. And that's the story of Herman the worm. Oh,
So tiny.
and here he is, right here.
Sleeping
and you
and
can
taking a nap.
Eat him all up yourself. So we're going to finish making this into
bread.
things, and then we're going to cook it in the oven and eat
Eat
it
this
up.
bread.
Would you like to try a bite of Herman? How's he taste?
Good.
So you can make your own creations.
No.
These cook at 350 degrees, and we cooked ours for about 20 minutes because they're pretty big. But it just cook them a little more or a little less.
Yes, yum.